Hi guys, it's John from Laoyat.net. Today we'll be actually taking a look at the latest high-performance card from AMD, which is this one, the Radeon VII. The Radeon VII was first announced during CES 2019, and the card's announcement was also a very big surprise for the world.
Today I'm really happy to show you for the very first time our new high-end GPU for gamers and creators, AMD Radeon VII.
At the time, many people were actually expecting AMD to talk about just their CPUs and not announce a new graphics card. Moving on, the Radeon VII is still based on AMD's current Vega GPU architecture, but more specifically, the GPU in question is second generation. This specifically also means that the GPU is measuring only at 7 nanometers versus the 14 nanometer die lithography that the previous generation Vega used. Specs-wise, the card comes with 16 gigabytes of high bandwidth memory 2 or second generation high bandwidth memory or HBM2, but more importantly, the memory bandwidth on this card comes at a whopping 1 terabyte per second. On its design, you'll notice that AMD has stuck with a dust aluminum motif. A motif which, by the way, they've used since 2014, back when they released the Radeon R9 295X2. It's a very old card. I can't believe I even remember that. But on a more recent vintage, it's actually also the same dust aluminum motif that was used with the special edition Radeon RX Vega 64, which launched back in 2017. Now, in terms of competition, AMD had outrightly said that the Radeon VII would give Nvidia's GeForce RTX 2080 graphics card a run for its money. So, naturally, we decided to pit these two cards against each other. At this current moment, I only have an initial impression and first look at the card, which you can find up on the official page. But if I were to be honest, the numbers I got from the Radeon VII aren't quite what I would expect from a high-end card, and I don't mean that in a very positive light. I'm not saying the card is bad, but here's the bottom line. The card was able to go toe-to-toe with the GeForce RTX 2080 on most tests. But there were occasions when I would run into some weird incidences. For example, some game titles, in this case I can name Battlefield 5 and an older game, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. The Radeon VII would present a weird sort of stuttering effect, and it was only ever present with this card. However, having said that, I have reason to suspect that the reason I saw these stutterings was due to the press drivers that AMD had provided along with the card when we began the initial testing. There's also the issue about the fan noise as well as the heat generated by the Radeon VII. Compared to its direct competitor, the Radeon VII actually ran a lot hotter and a lot louder than a card normally would. The fans would actually run at full whack, so much so that I could hear it even from across a room. Again, by comparison, the GeForce RTX 2080 fared much better than the Radeon VII on the same test, and they weren't even overclocked. The card was far more stable, there was less heat generated, it required less power for that matter, but more importantly, it generated far less noise than the Radeon VII. Of course, one other feature that the GeForce RTX 2080 or all GeForce RTX series cards actually have over the Radeon VII is the ability to perform ray tracing in real time. In any case, as I mentioned before, this is still just an initial impression or first look at the Radeon VII versus the GeForce RTX 2080. I'll be putting up a full review of the card later on the official Laoyat page, so do check it out as that review will cover more in-depth details about the card's strengths and weaknesses as well as its capabilities. Do let us know what you think about the Radeon VII in the comment section below if you've actually played with it or you have any intentions of buying it. Until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button to get notified of all future videos. Bye!